I was focused on coming to California when I was like 9 years old.
The film Tombstone is often remembered as one of the most exciting Western movies made in modern Hollywood, but the story behind its creation is just as powerful as what audiences saw on screen. When people watch the movie, they see strong characters, emotional moments, and thrilling gunfights, yet very few realize how close the project came to falling apart during production. Years later, Sam Elliott spoke about his experience working on the film and shared details that many fans had never heard before. His calm and thoughtful reflections revealed that making the movie was not a smooth journey at all. Instead, it was filled with stress, uncertainty, and difficult decisions from the very beginning. The making of Tombstone seemed full of promise. The script, written by Kevin Jarre, aimed to tell a deeper and more human story about the famous Earp brothers. Unlike many Western films that focused only on action, this version wanted to explore the emotions, struggles, and relationships of the characters. When Sam Elliott read the script, he felt a strong connection to the role of Virgil Earp. He saw the character as a steady and responsible leader, someone who believed in doing what was right even when it was difficult. At the same time, actors like Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer joined the cast, bringing excitement and confidence to the project. With such a talented group of people involved, many believed the film had the potential to become something truly special. The production began in Arizona, where the desert landscapes helped create a realistic feeling of the old American West. The cast and crew were excited to be part of a movie that respected history and aimed to tell a meaningful story. In those early days, everything seemed to be moving in the right direction, and there was a strong sense of hope that the film would succeed. However, as filming continued, problems slowly began to appear, and the situation became more complicated than anyone had expected. Directing a large movie is a difficult task that requires careful planning, strong leadership, and the ability to manage many different parts at the same time. Cameras, lighting teams, actors, and costume designers all need to work together smoothly, and even small delays can cause serious issues. Although Kevin Jarre was a talented writer with a clear vision for the film, he had never directed a major Hollywood production before. As a result, the process began to slow down as he tried to make every scene perfect. While his attention to detail created beautiful images, it also caused delays that worried the studio. Movies with large budgets must stay on schedule, and when filming starts to fall behind, the pressure quickly increases. Over time, the crew began to feel that the production was losing control. The atmosphere on set became tense, and there was growing concern that the film might not be finished on time. This tension marked the beginning of a difficult period that would test everyone involved in the project. The situation reached a turning point when the studio made a decision to remove Kevin Jarre as a director. This moment was shocking and emotional for the cast and crew because Jarre had been deeply connected to the story for many years. He was not just a director, but also the person who had created the script and shaped the vision of the film. According to Sam Elliott, watching him leave was painful because everyone could see how much the project meant to him. At the same time, the film still needed to be completed, and the studio could not afford further delays. To keep the production moving forward, the producers brought in experienced director George P. Cosmatos, who was known for his ability to handle large and complex projects. His main goal was to finish the movie on time and bring order back to the set. However, this sudden change created uncertainty among the cast and crew. People wondered whether the film would still feel the same or if the original vision would be lost. Despite these concerns, everyone understood that they had to continue working together if they wanted the project to survive. Even after George P. Cosmatos stepped in to take over directing duties, the production of Tombstone did not suddenly become easy. The schedule was still tight, the pressure from the studio remained high, and many important decisions had to be made quickly. During this difficult time, Kurt Russell began to play a much larger role behind the scenes than most people expected. Although he was officially cast as Wyatt Earp, stories from the set suggest that he helped guide the production in many ways. He reportedly spent long evenings working with crew members, planning scenes, organizing shot lists, and helping adjust parts of the script so that filming could continue smoothly. According to Sam Elliott, these efforts were extremely important in keeping the project alive during a time when it could have easily fallen apart. This unusual situation, where an actor took on leadership responsibilities while still performing the film, showed just how committed the team was to finishing the movie. It also created a unique working environment where collaboration became essential, and everyone had to step beyond their usual roles to support the project. However, keeping production moving forward came with difficult sacrifices, and one of the biggest challenges was a need to cut large portions of the original script. Nearly 30 pages of scenes involving the Earp brothers had to be removed in order to save time and simplify the story. For Sam Elliott, this was especially disappointing, because many of those scenes helped develop the relationship between Virgil, Wyatt, and Morgan Earp. These moments were important for showing the emotional depth of the characters, and losing them meant that some parts of the story would feel less complete. Even so, Elliot chose to stay focused and continue giving his best performance. He relied on small details, such as quiet expressions and subtle movements, to bring depth to his character even with limited screen time. Meanwhile, Val Kilmer delivered a powerful and memorable performance as Doc Holliday, adding humor and emotional weight to the film. Despite the challenges, the cast remained determined to make the movie work, understanding that every effort they made could help save the project as filming continued. The working conditions became more intense and exhausting for everyone involved. The studio wanted the film completed quickly so it could be released during the competitive holiday season of 1993. This meant long days on set, often stretching late into the night, with very little time for rest. Actors had to learn new lines quickly as scripts were sometimes rewritten at the last moment, and crew members worked under constant pressure to keep everything on schedule. The heat of the Arizona desert added another layer of difficulty, making physical work even more demanding. Some members of the crew found the situation too stressful and decided to leave the project, but the main group of actors stayed committed until the end. Sam Elliott later described this period as one of the most challenging experiences of his career, but also one of the most meaningful. The shared struggle created a strong bond among the cast, and this sense of unity helped them push through the hardest moments. In many ways, their real-life experience began to reflect the loyalty and determination shown by the characters in the film at the same time. Another major challenge appeared outside the production of Tombstone, adding even more pressure to the situation. A second movie about Wyatt Earp was being developed in Hollywood, starring Kevin Costner. This competing film, titled Wyatt Earp, had a much larger budget and strong studio backing, which made many people believe it would dominate the Western genre. Some members of the Tombstone team worried that their film might be ignored once the bigger production was released. Sam Elliott later recalled conversations with Kurt Russell where they questioned whether their smaller movie could compete with such a powerful project. Despite these concerns, the cast chose to stay focused on their own work rather than worrying about the competition. They believed that if they told a strong and honest story, audiences would respond to it. This mindset helped them stay motivated during a time when doubt and uncertainty could have easily taken over. When Tombstone was finally completed and released in 1993, the response from audiences proved that all the struggle had been worth it. Despite the difficult production, the film felt confident, powerful, and emotionally engaging on screen. Viewers were drawn to the strong performances, especially the unforgettable portrayal of Doc Holliday by Val Kilmer, which many still consider one of the greatest roles in a Western film. Kurt Russell also received praise for his steady and commanding performance as Wyatt Earp, while Sam Elliott brought a quiet strength and dignity to the role of Virgil Earp. The chemistry between the actors helped make the story feel real, even though many challenges had taken place behind the scenes. Over time, the film gained even more popularity and became a classic among Western movie fans. What made this success even more impressive was the fact that the audience never saw the chaos that had taken place during filming. On the surface, the movie looked polished and carefully planned, but in reality, it was a result of determination, quick thinking, and teamwork under pressure. Years later, when Sam Elliott spoke about the making of the film, his reflections gave fans a deeper understanding of what truly happened behind the camera. He explained that the experience was both inspiring and painful, filled with moments of doubt as well as moments of hope. One of the most important lessons he shared was how close the project came to failure. There were times when it seemed possible that the film might never be finished, especially during the period when the original director left and the schedule began to fall apart. However, instead of giving up, the cast and crew chose to support each other and continue working toward a common goal. This sense of teamwork became the true strength of production. Elliot also pointed out that the difficulties they faced made the final result even more meaningful. Knowing how much effort went into saving the film adds a new layer of appreciation for those who watch it today. Another interesting aspect of production was how the real-life experience of the actors began to mirror the story they were telling on screen. In many classic westerns, characters are forced to rely on each other during difficult situations, showing loyalty, courage, and determination. Something very similar happened during the making of Tombstone. The actors spent long days working in tough conditions, dealing with stress, uncertainty, and constant changes. Yet instead of letting these problems break their spirit, they grew closer as a team. Sam Elliott later explained that this shared struggle created a strong bond among the cast, one that helped them deliver more authentic performances. When audiences watch the film, they can feel the connection between the characters, and part of that feeling comes from the real relationships formed during production. This connection is one of the reasons the movie continues to resonate with viewers even many years after it's released. In the end, the story behind Tombstone serves as a powerful reminder that great movies are not always created under perfect conditions. Sometimes, they are the result of challenges, setbacks, and moments of uncertainty that force people to work harder and think more creatively. The cast and crew of the film refused to give up, even when the future of the project seemed unclear. Their determination turned a troubled production into a lasting success. Today, the film stands as one of the most beloved westerns of its time, not only because of its story and performances, but also because of the effort and passion that went into making it. For fans, knowing these hidden details adds a deeper level of respect for everyone involved. It shows that behind every great film, there is often an even greater story waiting to be discovered, a story of people coming together to overcome challenges and create something memorable. One of the most meaningful parts of this story is how the experience changed the way Sam Elliott looked at his own work and the film industry as a whole. Before working on Tombstone, he had already built a strong reputation for playing steady and reliable characters, especially in Western films. However, this project tested him in ways he had not faced before. The constant uncertainty, the long hours, and emotional weight of seeing the original vision struggle to survive forced him to adapt and grow as an actor. He learned how important it is to stay focused even when things are not going as planned. Instead of becoming frustrated by the changes, he chose to concentrate on what he could control, which was his own performance. By focusing on small details, such as body language, tone of voice, and quiet expressions, he was able to bring depth to his character even when some of the scenes had been removed. This approach not only helped improve his performance, but also showed how true professionalism can make a difference during difficult productions at the same time. The experience also highlighted the importance of leadership and teamwork in filmmaking. While George P. Cosmatos provided structure and kept the production moving, and Kurt Russell quietly supported the process behind the scenes, it was a combined effort of everyone involved that truly saved the film. Every department, from the actors to the crew members working on lighting and costumes, had to adjust quickly and support each other. There was no room for ego or personal conflict because the success of the project depended on cooperation. Sam Elliott later emphasized that this kind of teamwork is what separates successful productions from those that fail. When people are willing to step up, take responsibility, and help each other, even the most difficult situations can be overcome. This lesson is not only important for filmmaking, but also for any kind of creative work where many people must come together to achieve a common goal. Another lasting impact of production was how it shaped the legacy of Tombstone in the years that followed. At the time of its release, the film was competing with other projects and facing uncertainty about how it would be received. However, as time passed, it became clear that the movie had something special that set it apart. Audiences continued to watch and appreciate it, and its reputation grew stronger with each passing year. Many fans began to quote lines from the film, discuss their favorite scenes, and celebrate the performances of the cast. Val Kilmer in particular received lasting praise for her portrayal of Doc Holliday, a character that combined humor, intelligence, and emotional depth in a way that felt unforgettable. The success of the film showed that even a troubled production can lead to something truly memorable if the people involved remain committed to their vision. In the end, the journey of making Tombstone is more than just a story about a movie. It is a story about persistence, belief, and the power of working together through difficult times. The challenges faced by the cast and crew could have easily ended the project, but instead, they became the reason the film turned into something meaningful. Sam Elliott and the rest of the team proved that success is not always about having perfect conditions. Sometimes it comes from facing problems directly and refusing to give up. For viewers today, this story adds a deeper level of appreciation for the film, reminding them that behind every great performance and every memorable scene, there are real people who work hard to bring the story to life. This understanding makes watching the film an even richer experience, as it connects the audience not only to the characters on screen, but also to the real journey that made the movie possible. Another important part of the story is how the pressure of competition pushed the team behind Tombstone to work even harder. At the time, the Western genre was not as popular as it had once been, and big studios were careful about investing in such films. The presence of Wyatt Earp, starring Kevin Costner, made the situation even more uncertain. That project had a much larger budget, more time for production, and strong support from the studio. Many people in Hollywood believed that it would become the definitive film about Wyatt Earp, leaving little space for another movie on the same subject. This created a quiet but serious pressure on the makers of Tombstone. They knew they had fewer resources and less time, yet they still wanted to create something that could stand alongside a major production. Instead of feeling defeated, this challenge gave the team a sense of urgency and purpose. They focused on telling a strong, emotional story and delivering performances that would stay with audiences. In many ways, the competition forced them to be more creative and more determined, which ultimately helped shape the film into something unique. The difference between the two films also showed how storytelling choices can affect the way audiences connect with a movie. While Wyatt Earp aimed to present a long and detailed biography of the famous lawman, Tombstone chose a more focused and emotional approach. It highlighted key moments, strong relationships, and memorable dialogue rather than trying to cover every detail of the historical story. This decision allowed the film to move at a faster pace and keep viewers engaged from beginning to end. Sam Elliott and his fellow actors understood that their performances needed to feel real and grounded in order to make this approach successful. They paid close attention to the personalities of their characters and tried to show both strength and vulnerability. This balance helped the film stand out and connect with audiences on a deeper level. Over time, many viewers began to prefer the style of Tombstone because it felt more immediate and emotionally powerful. Looking back, it becomes clear that the success of Tombstone was not just about the final product, but also about the journey that led to it. The problems faced during production forced the cast and crew to think creatively and make quick decisions, which added a sense of energy to the film. Sam Elliott later suggested that some of the tension and urgency seen on screen may have come from the real-life pressure experienced during filming. When actors are working under stress, their emotions can sometimes feel more genuine, and this can translate into stronger performances. The long hours, the constant changes, and the need to adapt quickly all contributed to a working environment that was far from comfortable, but also pushed everyone to give their best effort.